A nation mourns the assassination of President Kennedy. November 22, 1963, dawned bright and clear in Dallas, Texas. President John F. Kennedy, young and charismatic, was in town for a political visit. He rode in an open motorcade, waving to cheering crowds. At 12:30 p.m., as the motorcade passed through Dealey Plaza, shots rang out. The president slumped, fatally wounded. The nation and the world reeled in shock and disbelief. The assassination of John F. Kennedy was a pivotal moment in American history. It shattered a sense of innocence and ushered in an era of profound distrust in government. The official investigation, led by the Warren Commission, concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in killing the president. However, the Warren report failed to quell the swirling doubts and conspiracy theories that continue to surround the event to this day. The assassination of President Kennedy remains one of the most traumatic and controversial events in American history. The official narrative, while widely accepted initially, has been challenged over the decades by researchers, historians, and independent investigators. The lingering questions and alternative theories surrounding the assassination speak to the enduring power of this national tragedy. In the aftermath of the assassination, the nation demanded answers. President Lyndon B. Johnson, thrust into power, appointed a commission to investigate. Led by Chief Justice Earl Warren, the commission conducted a 10-month investigation, interviewing witnesses, examining evidence, and reviewing Oswald's background. In September 1964, the Warren Commission released its report. It concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with known communist sympathies, acted alone in assassinating President Kennedy. According to the report, Oswald fired 3 shots from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository where he worked. 2 bullets struck the president, and 1 wounded Texas Governor John Connally, who was riding in the same car. The Warren report, while presented as definitive, was immediately met with skepticism by some. Critics pointed to inconsistencies in witness testimonies, questionable ballistics evidence, and the lack of a clear motive for Oswald's actions. The report's conclusion that Oswald acted alone, while initially accepted by many, failed to quell the growing suspicions of a larger conspiracy. One of the most enduring controversies surrounding the JFK assassination centers on the magic bullet theory. According to the Warren Commission, a single bullet, Commission Exhibit 399, known colloquially as the magic bullet, passed through President Kennedy's neck, exited his throat, and then struck Governor Connally in the back, wrist, and thigh. This single bullet theory is crucial to the lone gunman narrative, as it accounts for the number of shots fired and the victim's wounds. However, critics argue that the bullet's alleged trajectory and the extent of the injuries it inflicted are implausible. They point to the bullet's pristine condition after inflicting so much damage. Furthermore, some witnesses reported hearing shots coming from different directions, suggesting multiple shooters. The ballistics evidence in the JFK assassination remains highly contested. The lack of definitive proof and the existence of alternative interpretations have fueled debates about the number of shooters, the origin of the shots, and the possibility of a larger conspiracy. The autopsy of President Kennedy has been another focal point of controversy. Conducted at Bethesda Naval Hospital, the autopsy has been criticized for its lack of thoroughness and for inconsistencies in the medical findings. Some experts have argued that the autopsy photographs and X-rays were tampered with, adding to the suspicions of a cover-up. Key pieces of evidence, including the president's brain, went missing, fueling allegations that critical information was deliberately withheld or destroyed. These gaps in the record have made it nearly impossible to reach a consensus on the exact nature of the injuries and the direction of the shots. The controversies surrounding the autopsy and the handling of evidence have only deepened the mystery of the JFK assassination. They leave us with more questions than answers, perpetuating the debate and keeping the events of that day shrouded in uncertainty. All right, so let's delve into this. Lyndon B. Johnson, the man who stepped into the presidency after Kennedy's tragic assassination, has often been a figure of speculation and intrigue in this narrative. Some theories, though controversial, have suggested that Johnson had a role, directly or indirectly, in the events surrounding that fateful day. Now, when we talk about the FBI's involvement, things get even murkier. Under J. Edgar Hoover's leadership, the Bureau's actions during this period have raised quite a few eyebrows. Hoover and Johnson had a close relationship, one that some argue might have influenced the direction of the investigation into Kennedy's death. But, it's also important to remember that these connections and theories are just that, connections and theories. The evidence, as it stands, hasn't definitively proven any direct involvement by Johnson or the FBI. Still, the interplay of power and influence during this time is undeniably fascinating. So, as we continue to piece together this complex puzzle, we must tread carefully, separating fact from speculation and always questioning the motives and actions of those in power. The connections between the CIA, Cuba, and various plots abroad have long fueled speculation about their potential involvement in the Kennedy assassination. The early 1960s were marked by covert operations, secret plans, and a web of geopolitical tensions. Could these clandestine activities have played a role in the tragic events of November 22, 1963? Well, it's a question that still lingers in the minds of many researchers and historians. President Kennedy's relationship with the military and intelligence community was, to say the least, complicated. His refusal to escalate military involvement in certain global conflicts and his skepticism toward some intelligence operations created significant friction. Could this tension have contributed to motives for his removal? It's a troubling thought, yet one that cannot be dismissed without careful consideration. The assassination of John F. Kennedy marked a turning point in public trust toward government institutions. As theories and unanswered questions grew, so did a cultural shift, a sense of skepticism that would define a generation. The event left a deep scar on the American psyche, shaping how citizens viewed their leaders and their nation's transparency. Decades later, the search for truth in the Kennedy assassination continues. New theories emerge, documents are declassified, and yet the mystery remains. It's a reminder of how history, no matter how well documented, can still hold secrets. The pursuit of answers is not just about understanding the past, but also about ensuring accountability and trust in the future.